yanmaunaṃ sarvabhūtānaṃ yanmaunaṃ citta-bandhanam mūlabantas sada sevyah yogyosau rajayoginam anganam samatam vidyāt same brahmani līnatam no chennaiva samānatvam ujutvam sukshavrukshavat. Mula bandha. This is one type of asana, siddhasana. This is one type of asana in Hatha Yoga. This mula bandha here, that is a particular way of sitting. This mula bandham here he says, Moolam means, here, Moolam is the cause, the root. So, the cause of everything. The cause of everything is Param Brahman. Yat Moolam Sarvabhūtānaṃ. Sarvabhūtānaṃ Akāsādi Bhūtānaṃ Karyakarana Sanghatanam, all elements and elementals for all of them. What is the mula? What is the kāraṇa? What is the cause? And yen moolam chitta bandhanam. Chittasya bandhanam, chitta bandhanam. So the chitta bandhanam, the stopping of the mind. So the stopping of the mind, the chattering of the mind, stopping of the mind, and that's what yogis are attempting. Chitta bandhanam. He says, yen moolam chitta bandhanam. Whatever bandhanam you do, whatever tight control you do, again it will come back. Then again you have to control. It is like dog's tail. The tail of a dog, you want to straighten, and you straighten. Then again, it will bend. So it won't be straight. And that's similarly here, you cannot keep this mind without thinking. But then, chitta bandhanam is no issue. And because of which alone, which vastu kāraṇaṃ alone, chitta bandhanam is not required. The way chittam resolves into what? All your thoughts resolve into what? Without resolving. Looking at them, they get resolved. And therefore, yat chaitanyam moolam, and moolam chittasya chitta bandhanam. And that is called, that is what we have to contemplate upon. That is what you have to contemplate. So sada sevyah. That is the mula bandha. You must really pursue sada sevyah. Yogyosau rajayoginam. Asau mula bandha. Rajayoginam yogyah. Rajayogis means this is Raja among the yogis. And for them, those royal yogis, right royal yogis, they follow a right royal path. And this for those contemplators, Raja Yogina, Pannagi. So, the yogi is trying to have Mula Bandha. But here, so the Raja Yogis go after Mula Vastu. Vastu contemplation, this is Mula Bandhanam. Then Samatvam, Anganam Samatvam. There was one in the beginning we read. So among the 15, Mūlabandhasya Dehasamyam cha Druk-sthitihi. Dehasamyam. Yeah, Dehasamyam. Dehasamyam means all the limbs. This Samatvam, the head, the neck, Shiras, this Samam Kaya Shiro Grivam. Shiras, head, Griva, neck, the trunk. All the three have to be in the same line. There is no same line. They will say, what will column erect? No, what will column is erect. You know, it has got its own root. And so, all the bends and all that. Generally we say erect. Same line. How can you draw a line if the fellow is a hunchback? And so you cannot. And so it's always more or less somehow. The only more or less you get. Here he says, Anganam samatam vidyat same brahmani linatam. Samam Brahma. Brahman is the only thing which is always samam. Samam means not equal. Samam Brahma. Nirdosham hi samam Brahma. Gita. Nirdosham hi samam Brahma. Samam means nirvikaram. It doesn't undergo any change, any modification. And it is samam, is always the same. And it doesn't bend, it doesn't modify, it doesn't decline, it doesn't change. So that is samam Brahma. And also samam sarveshu bhuteshu. That is also samam. Sarveshu bhuteshu samam. Your atma, my atma, you cannot complain. Swamiji, your atma is Satchidananda, I know. How do you know? And my atma is also Satchidananda. So I don't feel like that. So you want to feel Satchidananda. Satchidananda is not meant for feeling. All feelings are Satchidananda, okay? Satchidananda is not feeling, and all feelings are Satchidananda. Even your feeling of loneliness, feeling of abandonment, feeling of rejection, feeling of sadness, all these are Satchidananda. But I don't feel. What can I do? It's not a matter for feeling. It's a matter for understanding. Every feeling is Chaitanyam, is consciousness. And it is Sat, it is Ananda. Every feeling. It's entirely a different thing. What is to be understood? So what is to be understood should be understood. Then all feelings will be all okay, if that is understood. And therefore, Samam Brahma. Everybody's Atma is the same. There is only one Atma. Samam Brahma. Sarvej Bhuteshu Samam. In all beings, Samam. So this Samam, in terms of its presence in the whole Jagat, it is Samam. There is no aage piche. There is no second thing. For it to be different in one and different in another. No. Samam Brahma, Sarvasya Adhishtānatva. Being the Adhisthana, the very content of everything. And naturally, it is Samam. And the Same Brahmani Līnata Samatvam. A resolution that the Ahankara is Brahman. Brahman is not Ahankara. So that is Leena. That is how it resolves. In the wake of knowledge it resolves. And then contemplate on that. And therefore Ahankara, your ego, the knower, known, knowledge, there is a difference. There is no samatvam. There is no samatvam. You see a mountain, you see the valley. A difference. So there is no samatvam. There is no samam, anything is not samam. Eyes are not the same as ears. And therefore, difference is the creation. Difference is the creation, there is no samatvam. You don't need to have samatvam. What is the truth is already samam. And tasmin līnata. Same brahmani līnatam vidyāt samatam vidyāt. Understand that to be anganam samata. Anganam samata. That is the real samatva. No chet naiva samanatvam. If that is not there, there is no samanatva. Differences are the rule. There is no samanatva. Even two objects, like two chairs, they look the same, but still they are different. If they are the same, then how are you going to sit? If there are two chairs, so two fellows are sitting, and therefore one chair is different from the other, and therefore, but they all look the same. So, this line, what we call this assembly line, that kind of a car, you take one car, every car is the same. No. There is a difference. No, exactly, ditto car. This is also the same Toyota Corolla. And the same thing, the other one also. No. Other one is different. How can you say that? It's the same. Then if it is the same, what do you say the other? No. This is standing here, that is standing there. That is the difference, okay? That is the difference. And if you really look into that, you will find that is different from this one, this is different from other. One is a lemon, the other is orange. Therefore, so there is a difference, time, place difference. Desha paricheda, kala paricheda. There are different types of difference you are able. So one is at this place P, this is, and that is a part of that car. So car at place P is different from P1. That is why you choose one. I will take that car. Okay? Therefore, there is no samanatvam. Samanatvam is not there. This is the only samam in the world. Everything else is meant to be different. Always different. Brain cells are different from kidney cells. If they are not different, see, just imagine all those things. Not different. And therefore, so this brain cells should be brain cells. Difference is the rule of Srishti. And the miracle is difference. One is different from the other. Look at the plants and trees and the flowers. How many varieties? Each plant has got its own something to say. Look at the cars on the road. That's also very beautiful to see. So each car, each car is different. And in the same cart, and the fellow comes. So this is a macho's car. And he sits, it's some kind of a van, and he puts this big truck tire, and the 4 truck tires. He's sitting there and he wants you to notice, okay? Even I have noticed. That's exactly what it. So the fellow sits there and then comes. Different. And look at the people who are driving. Amazing. And some of them drive like this also. It's very dangerous. You have to go to the other. Totally away from that fellow. And so you see difference. People are different, vehicles are different, such a color. That's creation. The variety is the signature of Ishvara. Variety. How many noses are there? Types of noses. इधर उधर करता है जो बहुत है. Faces, how many faces, how many types of eyebrows. Some of them God made, some of them locally made. This is brow-rising eyebrows. Very nice. Therefore, only one thing that is some Brahma. Tasmin līnata eva samatvam. Anganam samatvam, sarva anganam samatvam. Nachet, nauchet, nochet. If that is not there, naiva samanatvam. There is no question of samatvam. Samanatvam is samatvam. So, naiva samanatvam. And then, this rujutvam, sushka vrikshavati. Sushka vriksha. Sushka vriksha means a dry tree, a dead tree, a dry tree. Therefore, he says, a dry tree, you cannot find out what is the tree, because leaves are not there. So, sushka vrikshavati, rijutvam nasti. Rijutvam also is same thing, samanatvam, rijutvam. Sushka vrikshavati. And sushka dry tree. Sushka vrikshavati, rijutvam. Like a dead stump of a tree, straightness is not possible. Means deha samya, like there is a meaning. Without any movement, deha, without any movement, sushka vrikshavati, like the trunk of a dead tree, rijutvam, is not possible for a live deha. Such state rijutvam is not there. A little far-fetched example, but no movement. drishtim jnanamayim krutva pashyet brahma mayam jagat sa drishti paramodara na nasa grabalokani. There is this is one drishti. Nasikagram samprekshya. This is one of the steps in the dhyana meditation. So nasikagram samprekshya. Now this watching, observing the tip of your nose. Nasikagram samprekshya. One of the advisors, keeping the world outside, unloading everything. Pranapanu samakrutva. So ingoing, outgoing breath. So objectify them, observe them, make them rhythmic. Samakrutva. Then nasikagram dishascha anavalokayan. Later it comes dishascha anavalokayan. Not looking this side, that side, etc. Nasikagram sampreksha. Watching, observing the tip of your nose. Sentence is incomplete. He doesn't say nasikagram pashyet. No. Please concentrate, focus your attention on the tip of your nose. If that is the advice, then there will be many complaints. Suppose I have a flat nose. What will I do? Can I have a press-on plastic nose and observe, will it be efficacious or not? New problem, plastic problem. Thank God that is not said. He doesn't say that you have to focus your attention on the tip of your nose. Sampreksha, incomplete sentence. Some of the steps. And therefore keeping the world outside is not meditation. Keeping the body straight is not meditation. Looking straight is not meditation, head position. Then the eye position is pointed out as though you are looking at the nose. That's all. If your eyes are open. Eyes are closed, that issue doesn't exist. If eyes are open, as though you are seeing, as though, need not see, as though you are seeing eye position. That is the drishti. Where the eye is focused is called drishti. So this is one of the advices for meditation. Now he says, this drishti, what will you do? I mean, by this drishti, what will you gain? This particular way of looking at it, what will you? Suppose you look like this and meditate, so what? Nothing will happen, only your neck will have a problem after some time. But if that is how your neck is, suppose, then meditate that way. What is the big deal? So meditation is your mind. Your mind is engaged in Ishvara, Saguna Brahma Vishya Manasa Vyapara. Nothing to do with your nose, much less with your eyes. It is your mental activity. Manasa Vyapara. Objectifying in some way an altar, then afterwards you do something, puja, japa, or contemplation upon the whole, upon Ishvara. Manasa Vyapara. Mind alone is engaged. Mind is engaged in Saguna Brahma. You have to bring in Ishvara. Unless you take the nose as Ishvara, you can't do that. Nose you can take as Ishvara. Then people will if that is nose is Ishvara, then you have to pour all this milk and honey and everything on your nose. Even mentally, if you do, you begin sneezing. You will begin sneezing. I tell you, it's not psychosomatic. You will begin sneezing. And so it's all wrong reading. So here he says that drishti is their advice. Eye position, he says, drishti means your vision. Now the vision is pointed out, drishtim jnanamayim kritva. It is not, so this is visual. That is the visual drishti. But not here, we are not talking about with eyes, your drishti. Drishtim jnanamayim kritva. Take this drishti, atma vare drishtavyaha. Atma is to be seen, is to be known. Therefore, your drishti is the drishti of your buddhi, the way you look at things. That is the drishti. That is the drishti of your buddhi. Even in English you use that. So the scales of vision, you change. The way you look at things. That is the drishti, that is jnanamayi drishti. It is in the form of knowledge. The Shruti has a vision. And you get that vision transferred to yourself. So this is the beautiful thing. If you look at this, the Bhagavad Gita scene, there is a scene of Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna is seated behind in the chariot. Krishna is holding the reins of the horses. He is the Saraswati. He is the driver. Now, Krishna has stopped all these horses. So, looking back to Arjuna and talking. Arjuna is sad. Krishna says, Ma Sucha. There is no reason for you to grieve. Asochan anvashochastvo. The whole teaching. He turns and then talks to him. In other words, he tells him Tattvamasi. Now look at this description in the Upanishad. This is Gita. Gita is in the Mahabharata, written by Vyasa. The Gita is in the Mahabharata, an epic whose author is Vyasa. And the Gita dialogue is between Arjuna and Krishna. Krishna is presented as Bhagavan by Vyasa. When Vyasa says him Bhagavan, he is Bhagavan. That is how he recognizes him. And even that Bhagavan is Vyasa's creation, That's fine. For us it is fine. Bhagavan talks about himself. Mamekam sharanam braja. About himself he talks. I am everything. That's how he talks. So he is presented as Bhagavan, not as Mr. Krishna. But as Bhagavan only he talks, first person singular. Now, in the Upanishad, the source book, Atmanam Rathinam Vidyat, Kathopanishad, śrīhariṃ Rathame Vitu. Very beautiful. Take this body as a chariot. If the body is chariot, whose chariot it is? Ratha Swami. The Ratha Swami is the one who is the owner of this Ratha. My body. My Ratha. And that is, there is one fellow. So that is the Atma. That is, Atma here is one who owns this body. That is the Ahankara. So my body. Atmanam Rathinam Viddhi. Understand. Buddhim tu sarathim vidyat. Manah pragrahame vacha. Indriyani hayanaguhu. Buddhi, your buddhi, vijnanamaya, your buddhi is the sarathi, is the driver. Buddhi is the driver. Mind is the reins connected to the external world, senses. Because senses bring data, the mind receives them. And the buddhi reads them. So buddhi includes all your conclusions, nishayatmika antakarana vritti. And it concludes for this sahankara, the knower, the pramata, the knower, atma. So buddhim tu sarathim vidya, manah pragraham evacha. The senses are the horses, the sense objects are the roads. This is an imagery given in the Kathopanishad. Now apply this to Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna Ratha Swami. He is the master of this Ratha. And that is Ahankara. Buddhi is Krishna. Krishna is a teacher. But Arjuna's buddhi is teacher. Arjuna buddhi becomes the teacher for Arjuna. When will it become the teacher? When it is in keeping with the vision of the teacher. So the teacher's buddhi and Arjuna's buddhi are one and the same. So you are your own teacher in that sense. Only when your buddhi is in tune with the buddhi of the teaching of the teacher, the teaching is alive. When it comes through the buddhi of the teacher, therefore what is the buddhi of the teacher becomes your buddhi. And then your buddhi turns towards you, driver. Lord Krishna turns towards Arjuna and says, Tattvamasi, asochastu, masucha. Manmana bhava, mad bhakto bhava, mam yaji, mam namaskuru. That mam is Ishwar. And therefore when you turn, the two buddhis become one buddhi. That's what teaching is about. That's what learning is about. Both. Teaching and learning are one and the same. Therefore, you are your own Guru. But if your buddhi is in tune with the other buddhi, that is why communication is complete only when the communicator is conscious about what he or she does. Must be clear. Therefore, your buddhi becomes jnanamayi. So, drishtim jnanamayim kritva. Look at the jagat. Sarvam kalvitam Brahma. All that is here is indeed Brahman. All that is here is indeed, all that is here you keep on seeing. You have got lot of complaints to make all that is here. So this jagat that makes you small is Brahman, that is you. This jagat is not meant to make you small. Therefore, drishtim jnanamayim kritva. Then jagat brahmamayam pasye. Jagat is nothing but Brahman. This is as though vikara. Like the waves are seen as water, the jagat is seen as Brahman. How to see as Brahman? Brahman is you. You means Chaitanya. Brahma Chaitanyam. That is why there is nothing that can deny you the vision. If the drishti is jnanamayi, jagat becomes brahmamayam. Brahmamayam pashyet. The whole thing is Brahman. I am the adhisthana. Sa drishtihi parama udara. That is the most coveted. That is the most exalted. That is the ultimate. Sa drishtihi na nasagra avalokini. Not the drishti, the focus on the tip of your nose. Looking at the tip of your nose. What do you get? Neither the tip becomes smaller or bigger. You will develop headache, that's all. That's only eye position. Never the Shastra asks you to look at the tip of your nose. There is one dharana, trataka. So that is, they will put one dot somewhere, ask you to look at it for learning some focus. As all disciplines are there, we don't belittle any of them. People can do all that. He is converting every step into contemplation. That's all. Drishti darshana drishyānaṃ virāmo yatra vā bhavēt drishtistatraiva kartavyā na nasagravalokini. If you take a given perception, experience, there is a subject, there is an object, the connecting cognitive thought the seer, seen, sight. Seer, sight, seen. Seen is the object of the sight. The phalam of the sight, the result of that sight goes to the seer. That is the pramana phalam. It resolves into the seer. So the seer seen sight or sight seen. These three. Similarly, hearer, heard, hearing. You can take all these three. This is the duality. This is Dvaita Drishti. Correct? This is Dvaita Drishti. In this Drishti there is no problem. Because you should not look at a bus as a rat. And it is a bus. And everything that you see, you should see it as it is. That is the Drishti. Eye is meant for that. Now here he tells, that sight is not conclusive about the reality of all the three is all the three are three, all separate. It doesn't establish that kind of a duality. Just because I see, I can't say it is real. Seen is different from the seer. And therefore, there is duality. Then therefore is a problem. Therefore there is a duality. What is the logic? Drishyatvad. This drishyatvad, because I see. Because it is seen. Because seen means different from me. I am the seer. And because it is seen, it is different. Drishyatvad. I will use the same drishyatvad, proving that there is no difference. Seer seen, this difference doesn't constitute duality. Why? The seen being drishyatva. Even also a part of seer also drishyatva. Then what? So Swapna Drishyavat. There is an object seen in Swapna, in dream. There is seer seen, difference is there. Therefore it is real. The seer is the same Jyotihi, same consciousness. Drishya also is the same consciousness. Drishyatvat is, you cannot use the word Drishyatvat because it is seen. In fact, whatever that is seen is not true. If you take only the seen as the truth, then nobody will have a back. Only you see the front side. And therefore, all are backless people. And therefore you see, you understand. Then you have to infer afterwards. So inference is necessary. Just Drishyatvat, don't talk. Drishyatvat is a silly thing to say. You don't see the stars now. Therefore, it's not Drishya. Therefore, they don't exist. The moon is not seen. It doesn't exist. The moon is seen in the night bright. Therefore, it is self-luminous. And the stars come in the night. And therefore, they arrived in the night by special train or something. The sun looks so small, lighting up the whole thing. The same size, suppose you put a light. Will it light up? One stadium, can it light up? In fact, anything that is seen by you is not exactly what it is. including donut. Because it looks very harmless. Understand? It doesn't do any harm to you, poor thing. And it is sweet too. Very sweet. Nice. Sweet and nice. So we have to see these three things that we have. They are this sight, this difference is the havoc maker, this difference. While the difference is necessary, that is the srishti, that is the creation. That is the differentiated knowledge of Ishvara is creation. And intelligently differentiate. Eyes are eyes, ears are ears. So this difference doesn't constitute really duality. In fact, this difference reveals the glory of non-dual vastu. And therefore here, this is the drishti you must have. Atmavare drashtavyaha. This is the drishti. Kripa drishti of Guru. This is the drishti we want. So what is the drishti? Drishtihi, sight. Darshanam, see. And drishya, see. Tesham, drishyanam, viramaha yatra va bhavet. Virama, resolution. Period. Full stop. That is the virama. Here viramaha means they resolve, they abide. All these differences abide. Yasmin vastuni. Yatra vai bhavet. These differences resolve into which one vastu. Then sa drishtihi tatraiva drishtihi kartavya. See the seer, seen sight as one. There is only one. In dream it is all one consciousness. Now also it is one consciousness seeing me. You are seeing me. The seer consciousness, sight consciousness. So is there a sight without consciousness? Is there seen without consciousness? And the seer without consciousness doesn't exist. There is only one consciousness allowing you to have the sight. This virama, this resolution is taking place all the time. Whether you see or you hear or you smell or taste, or you think or whatever action you do, there is no change in the sustaining vastu, and that is you. That is the drishti. Therefore, sa drishtihi kartavya. Yatra viramaha bhaved. Drishti darshana drishyanam viramaha. Yatra bhaved yasmin vastuni. Yasmin chaitanya bhaved. Sa drishtihi kartavyātvaya. That is the drishti you should undertake. That kind of jnanamayi drishtihi you must undertake. Not nasagra avalokini. The nose tip of the nose tip sight. Avalokini. Prana ayamaha. Pranayama. Next. Pranasya ayamaha. Pranayama. So this this discipline of prana and the nirodha of prana also, where there is kumbhaka, you breathe in and you don't immediately breathe out. Consciously you retain your breath. Kumbhe jalamiva. And like even water is held in a pitcher, the breath is held in the lungs. And then deliberately it is let out in a certain measure. Then you breathe in and breathe out. So, antah kumbhaka. There is also bahi kumbhaka. After breathing out also, you don't immediately breathe in. This kumbhaka pranayama, this is the kumbhaka pranayama, means the kumbhaka becomes predominant in the pranayama. This retaining breath becomes predominant, either inside or outside, antaha and outside also. Now by this chitta vritti nirodha, you can try even now, hold your nose and then think something. Think about the stock market. After 1 minute you will not think. The only thought is how to breathe now. You have to breathe. And therefore the whole attention will be to breathe out. So when you practice kumbhaka, vrittis all resolve. And therefore afterwards the dharana, dhyanam, samadhi, all this resolution of the vrittis is easier, and drashtuhu swarupe avasthanam, they have a certain advice here, and the vritti resolves. And that's a practice. That's certain practice. You don't get enlightened because you have to understand the swarupa of the drashta. Patanjali tells drashtuhu swarupe avasthanam. What is the swarupa? That has got to be only pramana vidya. That has got to be understood with the help of teaching. Otherwise, it's mechanical. You will have a desirable experience. We have a lot of desirable experiences in life. They are all samsaric. These are the experiences, nothing wrong with that. This also, there is nothing wrong. If that can resolve certain issues, etc., and give you an experience of some kind of a happiness, fine. Like anything else will go, this also will go. That is not what we are talking about. So, but can pave the way for. That also may help us for gaining chitta naishchalya. Chitta naishchalya. More resolved mind. Less agitated. That kind of mind to have is is advantageous in learning. And therefore here he says, chittadi sarvabhaveshu brahmatvenaiva bhavanāt nirodha sarvavrittinam pranayamasya uchyate. This is pranayama. Sarvavrittinam nirodha. How? Chittadi sarvabhaveshu chittam. Chittam, see, chitta vritti nirodha. Yogaha chitta vritti nirodha. So you want to control the chitta vritti. They use the word control. So this nirodha, disciplining the chitta vrittis, controlling the chitta vrittis, eliminating the chitta vrittis, whatever. The chitta vritti nirodha. Now he says, whether it is chitta vritti, now chittam is standing for buddhi, manaha, indriya. So indriya vyapara also, all of them are taken. All of them, chittadi sarva bhaveshu, buddhi, manaha, indriyas in all of them, sarva bhaveshu, brahmatvenaiva bhavanāt. All of them, in all of them, there is brahmatva, because chitte chittatvam is not there. Chitte chittatvam is not there. So the manasī also, manastvam is not there. Why? Because vritti. So the chitta vrittis, chittam, if you say, what is chittam, if I ask a question, so that which has got chittatvam is chittam. The abstract noun of chittam. Chittam is inner faculty. So chittatvam. Chittatvam belongs to what? Not chitta. Another chitta, no. Chittatvam doesn't belong to chitta. And chittatvam cannot be the property of not chitta. What is not chitta? Achitta. But it is the property of Atma. But Atma has got Atmatvam. Satchidanandatvam. That is the nature Swarupa. And therefore Chittatvam doesn't exist without Satchidananda. That is Brahman. Therefore Chitta doesn't have Chittatvam. Chitta has got Brahmatvam. The Brahmatvam alone is the property, essential property of Chitta. The glory is that there is Chitta. That is the vibhuti of Parameshwara. That is the vibhuti. What is the Swarupa of Chittam is Brahmatvam, not Chittatvam. But at the same time there is Chittatvam. Amazing. That is contemplation. That Brahmatvam. See the Brahmatvam. That is contemplation. Brahmatvenaiva bhavanat sarva vritrinam nirodha. Then all buddhi vritti, mano vritti, all of them brahmatvam. All of them enjoy the same brahmatvam. That is the contemplation. That is pranayama. He says. Wonderful. Then in the pranayama, there is puraka and rechaka. So about this puraka is breathing in and filling up the lungs. And rechaka is breathing out. Now about that also he has got a comment. I mean converting everything in yoga into contemplation without belittling anything. Using the word for a contemplation. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purna Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamādaya Purnameva Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.